All right, thanks for coming back for more Pi, everyone. This is Pi here. So, yeah, this is my first live stream. Happy Pi Day to everyone. Hopefully that you guys are all staying healthy. I'm actually joined here by Mr. Tilly, and if any of you know about my Minecraft channel, you'll hear about him every now and then. He's gonna help me pick out some questions and whatnot. But first off, I decided that before we get into questions and whatnot, that I would show you some of my future storm chasing videos that are coming up. So over here, this is a storm that was out in eastern Colorado, and it kind of threw me off. I was pretty far away from it. Oops. Let me get back to here and scrub through it. So there was a tornado way off in the distance, and I was struggling to catch up to it. I was probably 5 to 10 miles away from it at this point. So there we go. And if there are any audio problems, anyone, feel free to let me know. The sound's kind of low at this point, so I believe it should be good. So, and then at some point, this tornado completely, like, fizzled away, and eventually I got closer to a nice-looking funnel cloud here once it plays. And this, I kind of got a bit close to here. Let me scrub through it a little bit. And so, and then over here, I'm like watching the funnel cloud up here in the top. And eventually it like starts kicking up some dust here. Let me kick this through. This is all 4K footage, so my computer has to work a little bit to play it. But then over here, so I stop and it starts, oh, hey, there I am. I'm like trying to prep my drone at this point. But yeah, you can see there that some dust is kicking up. Let me zoom in since it's 4K footage. And it's starting to kick up and whatnot. So unfortunately, this tornado didn't do much to spin up anything. It did spin up a little bit, but then it just completely fizzles out at that point. But man, that may have been the closest that I have ever been to a tornado right there. I mean, it was technically a ground circulation. So that was up here. Let's see, what's the date of that? August 13th is the file name on that one. So that'll be an exciting video to post in a bit. All right, let's see what else we got here. Now this one was very interesting. I was chasing on like just a little 2% day, and I was like, you know what, might as well go out there. I was actually coming back from a storm chase back in Kansas, and I actually caught up to a field fire here, and I was like, it's probably just a controlled burn. It was definitely not a controlled burn. Before I knew it, fire engines were walking by, and so I was filming it for a bit, and eventually some firefighters came up next to it. Oh, I'm gonna need to look for more footage over here. And so let's see, we'll play through Windows Media Player in a bit here. It's Windows Media Player is a bit slower to deal with. Let me see if I can find the footage of the fire trucks and whatnot, because that was pretty exciting. And I asked them, when the firefighters got there, I asked them, did lightning start this? They're like, oh yeah, it did. I'm like, oh, wow. I'm so glad I stopped to it, because it's totally weather related and whatnot. So it's one of these files here. Eventually the firemen get to it. They had to like take a roundabout way. There's the fire truck. Has to like drive past these cows and whatnot. And so eventually I get them over and putting out the flames. And there's some flames right there. Come on, where are you guys? There we go. So now they're spraying a little bit. And I actually asked them if I could fly my drone over them. There we go. Got a little bit of action there. Them just driving out. This was actually in the same area as the tornado from the previous clip, for those of you that were that just saw the clip before. So, and then I believe I have the drone footage over here. And so they were just kind of putting out hotspots at this point. But it was so cool because they totally gave me permission to let me fly around it. And this, you know, the drone's all rigged up to like fly into a tornado. So that's, I was a little bit worried that it would be a little bit tougher to fly, but I didn't have a problem even though there was a phone and a GoPro strapped to it. So yeah, that was the fire. So, and I won't show you this now, but I actually caught the lightning strike on my dash cam that started the fire. So that'll be an exciting video to show all of you guys. So anyway, for those of you that are just joining me, I am showing some future footage before I get to some of your Q&A questions. Happy Pi Day, everyone, and hope that a lot of you are staying well. I know it's been kind of crazy lately. So this was all of this footage that I'm showing you was like well after storm chasing season. Now in September here, this was a crazy day. It took me so long to get caught up with this storm, but eventually, let me scrub ahead here, and oh, there it was. There's a little nubbin right there. So let's skip to the next clip, and there we go. Got a better funnel cloud showing up there. Here, let me increase the contrast a little bit here so that you guys can see that. And there we go. Yep, so definitely funnel cloud, if not a tornado at that point. Let me skip ahead and let's see. So the tornado kind of teased me for a bit. This was up in Wyoming on September 10th, well after storm chasing season, well after I nearly got my drone into a tornado. So that was, so when I thought storm chasing season was ended in July, I thought that was a long time. But then here it kind of gets a little multi-vortex a little bit. Of course, I had my camera out of focus, but you know, that's besides the point. Eventually I get it back in focus here. Then it starts getting bigger. So I'm getting, the whole time I'm thinking that the storm is moving northeast at this point, so I keep trying to get farther south, so that way it would pass to my north. And so let's see, so it eventually gets bigger and bigger. And then touchdown, there it is. So that was a really special day. I was like super excited. I was like getting ready to fly my drone and everything, but it was starting to get rain. There was just too much rain. I was like, I cannot fly my drone into that unless I somehow got like a waterproof drone. So, and let's see. So eventually it gets totally rain wrapped here. And let's see, so eventually I see that it's about to cross the road to my south. I thought I was far enough south to get out of its path, but nope. So eventually I decided to drive into this, and I drove straight into hail, and as the tornado is like dissipating, I'm like, I'm driving along. Let me see if you guys can even hear this. Yeah, I think you can. So hope it'll probably sound like double because my speakers are on, but at some point, I take it out, and you can hear me freak out.
I am not good.
Wait for it. Wait for it. Yeah, put on my sunglasses. Come on, where is it? Okay, I'll save. I didn't actually get great video of it, but hailstone just took out my windshield. Man, I was so embarrassed. I thought I was like, you could be safe enough not to drive into hail. But I drove straight into the bear's cage as the tornado was crossing the road. And so, but yeah, so there's a little hint of some of my upcoming storm chases. And so I hope that you guys will be able to enjoy some of that. So now time to get on to some of your questions. And this is a question that I get asked a lot. Will I be uploading to Me, Myself, and Pi? That was the channel that I got my big start on. And let's see, let me go stretch this back into full screen. I know my webcam isn't great here, so how about before I do this, let's at least put a nice fancy tornado in the background over here. And so that way you guys can look at something, because I don't want to like crop this into widescreen. So let's see, it was the previous clip. This one right here. And where's the good shot? Where's the good shot? Come on, give me the good shot. How far away is it? There, okay, there we go. That's a good one. So let's just push that one off to the left, except I can't because it's not in the timeline. So there we go, and we'll push that over there. There we go. We got a nice little tornado thing. It's kind of 1 second. Let me move this over here. And then we will push the tornado over on this side and then move my Lumetri color panel over there and do that. So yes, anyway, so Me, Myself, and Pi, that is where I got my start on YouTube, uploading videos about Rubik's Cubes. And so this was an interest that I got to in high school, but I've been like crazy into weather all my life. Like my parents would totally like take me outside like during thunderstorms and watch them. I remember driving my family's Suburban once down the interstate to intercept my first supercell ever. That would make a fun video at some point. I was like, this thing is crazy. I knew nothing. That was probably like 8 to 10 years ago. And so, but yeah, so Rubik's Cubes, that's where I got it. Like, I got pretty fast at these things, can solve it in about 25 seconds. And so, and to be honest, I think it's time for me to give up on the cubing channels because now More Pi here is starting to take off. I've gotten like 10 times the amount of views on my Stormchasing videos, like just in the last like 3 weeks. So that's what I'm going to be focusing on. That and the Minecraft channel. I'm going to keep working on that as well. So hard. Anyway, well, so I mentioned Billy, Mr. Tilly here. Oh, and he's talking. Hey, Mr. Tilly, what's up?
Hey, yeah, so I guess the one question that we're getting an awful lot is, will you continue to storm chase, like for how long? Like, is this a passing trend for you, or is this going to be your, ambition, I guess is what we're getting?
Yes, okay. I've been thinking about that a lot lately, especially since I started chasing back in, how long ago? 2018. That's when I first started seriously chasing. And it felt like so much fun. I didn't know if there would be any kind of possible way for me to continue it long term. Especially, I would like to start a family at some point. So, and that might get in the way of that. So, because my priorities would change, of course. But honestly, I was just watching some of the Weather Channel shows that they've done on some of the tornadoes in the past, like some of the ones they did on like Joplin under the show Tornado Alley, or on Tuscaloosa, Alabama, or Moore, Oklahoma, and I was like, wow, I would love to do that. I would love to go and tell people's stories, because there is an incredible sense of like urgency for everyone to help each other out after a tornado hits a community. Like I've seen some videos of people that get caught in wildfires, and it's really sad for them, but honestly, when you see those people's stories, it's like, oh, woe is me, I lost all my stuff. But then when you see a community get hit by a huge EF5, then all of these people, they have just lost everything, but they get out and they start checking on their neighbors they probably hardly ever talk to, and making sure that everyone is okay. And I was like, wow, that is a really cool story to tell about how everyone just seems to have that urge of wanting to help out when there's barely any warning to your community about to get leveled. So that's what I would love to do, and it would be great if the channel got big to that point, especially if I had just documented a tornado taking out a city, and I would just love to tell the story of how everyone just seems to come together to rebuild their lives. So, and not saying that I would want to profit off of that. Certainly it would be nice to not lose so much money on storm chasing, because honestly, it's just spent all my own money that I've been putting into storm chasing, and that is, that's what I really want to do. I want to tell people's stories that get impacted about tornadoes, and I would also love to tell stories of meteorologists that are out there doing the actual research. I'm out there just trying to get cool shots from a drone, trying to fly into the tornado, and that's all great. And I can turn on the barometer sensor on the phone that I'll strap to my drone, but that's about the extent of the science that I'll get about flying a drone into it. So I would love to do that. So that's what I would love to do long term. But first priority is just to make some money doing it so that it's worth all my time. But I love it so much that I would find a way to do it even if I wasn't making money on it. Anyway, so that was a long answer to that question. So, anything else, Mr. Tilly?
Oh, yeah, many questions. I think one that needs to be addressed most definitely is your Prius. How is your Prius doing is one question we've gotten. And also, how many miles have you logged so far? And do you have any plans to upgrade your choice of vehicle.
Yeah, that's a good one. So the Prius. So I first got it back in like 2017. It was a gift from my grandparents because they had just upgraded to the new Prius. So I was like, oh, thank goodness, because I just had a Chevy Prism that had like 220,000 miles on it. Like I was staying with Mr. Tilly, who's picking out some of the questions for me, and he and I had that Prism like taken apart for a month in his driveway. I had it up on like jacks, all the wheels were removed. At least I learned a lot about the car. So, and like the first storm chase I did in that car back in like 2017, like my check engine light got on and I was like super afraid to like drive it more than an hour away. So the Prius was like a godsend because it had only 120,000 miles on it. So I was like, thank goodness I can at least get to the tornadoes. I know it won't be great on the dirt roads and whatnot, but so that was September of 2017 when I got it. It had 121,000 miles. Now it has 181,000 miles. So in 2.5 years, I've put just about 40,000 miles on it. So I might get 2 more years of chasing out of it. So I'm definitely gonna have to upgrade it. And so that would be great. So yes, a RAV4, anything with higher clearance would be amazing. So it is super nice to be able to fold down the back seat and be able to sleep in the car. So that's a huge blessing to have there, to not have to spend nights in hotels all the time. So anyway, hit me up. What else you got there, Mr.
All right. So next question is for people that have, that you've inspired, of course, because you're out there being brave and whatnot in your Prius. Someone says they're going to do their first storm chase this summer. Do you have any tips for a first-time storm chaser?
Oh, a first-time storm chaser. Yes. Go look up the YouTube user Skip Talbot. He has uploaded several great lectures on how to storm chase safely. And that has been a huge blessing to know what to do when you get caught in those scenarios, because I got close to like 3 tornadoes last year. So, but honestly, be careful on the road, because my next video, you may have saw a hint at the end of the last video, is like I almost hit oncoming traffic at 60 miles an hour. So that's the biggest thing. Like when it's raining, especially when it's hailing, just go slower. And the next thing I would do whatever you can to find someone to chase with. I've been finding more and more people that are interested every day, but their schedules usually just don't work out. So if you can find someone to drive, that makes it so much safer. Someone to focus on navigating, someone to focus on the road. That is super helpful. And honestly, in terms of forecasting, I just started using the Storm Prediction Center's Convection Outlook. And they post tornado probabilities now 2 days in advance. And so honestly, you could just do that and you'll see tornadoes. So, and Skip Talbot also has some lectures on forecasting as well. So I'm gonna really try to really hone in. There's like a 10-part series that Pecco's Hank has posted about on how to forecast tornadoes. So I'm been wanting to get in and study there. So yeah, there's my tips on a first-time storm chaser. All right, what's next, Mr. Tilly?
All right. How do you plan on managing a relationship and storm chasing if your significant other that you're
That's
looking
a good
for
question.
doesn't-
Hopefully whoever I find, like my heart would just melt if I could find a girl that would go storm chasing with me. So honestly, I'll be playing that by ear, but I have seen many other storm chasers, like Pecco's Hank. He's definitely the most famous most famous storm chasing YouTuber. And he's married, and there's a couple of other married storm chasers. So there is a way to do it. I don't quite know how it is, although I haven't really had to think about that too much. Though I'll get back to you guys if things like that update.
All right, and I guess the next big question we're getting a lot of is that have you ever met P. Hank?
Oh yeah, Pecco's Hank Sherma. Yeah. Yes, I actually did once. It was in 2018. I was in Texas, and I just drove by a Love's gas station. There he was, just talking to people out on the sidewalk. So I walked by as I went in to go use the restroom, and I'm like, "Hey, Hank, keep up the good work on YouTube." And he's like, "Hey, thanks, man." Just like with his. And he's like super tall too. So, I didn't want to be a fanboy, which I had to kind of fight against. And so I just kept on walking at that point. So, yep. And I've seen Reed Timmer a lot out on the road as well. So
Yeah. I guess another question we're getting a lot of. I know you have addressed your Rubik's Cube channel, but we are getting questions about your Minecraft channel, and I know that you probably want to just address those so people stop spamming.
Oh, yeah,
of course. But the biggest question is: are you going to be bringing back the Digit domain at any time?
Oh yeah. So in terms of the Minecraft channel, so that was really helpful back in the day to really bring in some extra income to really treat YouTube more seriously. I would like to keep doing it, but I think it's time for a big change. So we might try like a different mod and whatnot. And the digital domain, for those of you that don't know, is the server that one of my good friends, Rolly, up in Denver, helped me make. And so, but that server relied on a lot of free plugins, so to keep it going, and that was. But a lot of those developers got a little smart, and they're probably all working for hypixel.net, so those plugins really aren't available, especially for the newer versions of Minecraft. So, yeah. And so the digital domain won't be coming back, but Minecraft will probably be starting something new, fresh. Definitely got to get a face cam, because I have this webcam here. I just need to start using it more. So, anyway.
All right, so how many windshields have you replaced since you've been storm chasing?
Yeah, so this tornado over here, let's see, it's, oh, well, I've pushed it off to the, okay, right there, here. That one was the first one that I smashed, and so, fortunately, that's all I had to do. Although, it was way cheaper than I thought to get a windshield replaced, so it was only like 190, so I was like, oh, that was like way less than the $350 tow truck that I paid for. I might just be getting AAA after paying that bill. So, but just one windshield.
Yeah. Next question I have for you is: what is the difference between a land spout and a tornado?
Ooh, that's something that I'm still trying to figure out. And let me pull up some of that footage over here. So that was back in 2018 when my sister's got the nice truck for storm chasing, so I'm always trying to get her. Though she said she might be able to take off some time work if she has enough notice. Here, so twin twisters. Let me just pull, yeah, let's just do the thumbnails so that I don't have to worry about, let's see, is this, no, I don't think that's it. I'm not sure. Dang it, I'm not sure what it is. Let's just go to the main export after all. And pull that up. If Windows Media Player thinks about its life. Okay, well, while that's thinking. So a land spout tornado, the main difference, there it is. There's the land, stop it. The land spouts do not require a rotating thunderstorm. And so this land spout that I caught here, I was looking way farther south at this thing than the main circulation of the storm was. And so I'm pretty sure, like Skip Talbot, again, has made a great video on this specific tornado setup. And I'm pretty sure it has to do with the outflow boundary because, like the wind and stuff goes up and then it comes down and then that creates an outflow boundary. It'll create a big gust of wind. And so I believe that was the boundary between the outflow and the inflow of the storm. And as the inflow was rising into the storm, we had this outflow that I believe that I was colliding with. So there was a boundary there in the very least. That's what I know for sure. And since there's the main updraft of the storm, it was still sucking in air. Sometimes little circulations can spin up there. It's totally far beyond the circulation of the storm, but man, I really wish that we had taken those twisters more seriously because we could have gotten way closer to them. I could have flown my drone into those things. That would have looked epic. So, but yeah.
Okay, next question that I have for you is there any movie, because I mean, of course, this channel used to be called Me, Myself, and Movies. Is there any movie that is realistic to a storm chasing thing like Twister or anything like that you've watched?
Well, Twister's not realistic. My sister-in-law showed that to our family like 5 or 6 years ago. We could not stop laughing at how cheesy it was. Oh, goodness. And that was, So honestly, like I think I agree again with I've been mentioning Skip Talbot a lot. His video on I forget which one it was. It may have been Storm Spotting. He cites that the video that most represents storm chasers is the Close Encounters of the Third Kind, because that's where like these people are just so obsessed with going to see this one thing that's like out in the middle of nowhere, and it's like they gotta get to Devil's Tower, their target area, to see these guys. They're making like Devil's Tower models out of clay because to see these aliens that are coming. So that's probably the closest thing to storm chasers, because these guys are like trying to drive off road to get close to this thing. So that would be the closest movie to storm chasing. So
Okay. Next question we're getting is about all of your pals, all the ones that are long lost and some that people will hope to return. Like, what's going on with Dan, Spartan, all those individuals. They just want to know, like, are they coming back to any form of any channel or anything?
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, so a lot of those made an appearance on the. Let me brighten up my webcam really quick here. They made an appearance more on my Minecraft channel. Woo! Okay, shutter speed, the webcam settings decided to crank. Then it's starting to get a little dark outside, and okay, that's a little better. Ugh, my shutter speed. Ugh. Anyway, so eventually next time I'll get an HDMI capture device so I can hook up my good camera to this. So yes, so a lot of those people, including Mr. Tilly, those were people in college floor mates, and a lot of them got on to play Minecraft with me. And so, but Dan, the Dagonator, as you may know, over on the Minecraft channel, he's actually my landlord right now. He's upstairs right now. And so, but he's super busy working 2 jobs, so that is, that's where he's at right now. And, and I get asked this a lot on the Minecraft channel, where's my sister, Happy Helen? She's getting her master's degree, and coronavirus willing, she hopes to be graduated this May, so we'll see how that goes, depending on all the cancellations and whatnot. So, but yeah. What's next, Mr.
All right.
Tilly?
Next question is for me, and I want to say this. I admire Billy for all that he does with storm chasing. I think he's very brave. I think he is very smart, but I just will not be joining him on any storm chases in any near future or in any
Are
near
you sure?
universe,
I know
because one, my
Virginia's
wife
a
would not
little
allow me.
is a little far away, but we can meet up like in Missouri. Anyway, what else?
Anyway, I guess next question that we're really getting is, what was your first encounter with a tornado? Like, did you encounter one before you started storm chasing?
Oh no, my first one was during my first storm chase. So let me pull that up here as well on this. So let me check my NAS here. We're going way back to 2015. This was before I even had a car, and so my sister was like, "Hey Billy, there's the Weather Channel gave Colorado a torcon of a 6, which means it has a 60% chance of a tornado touching down within 50 miles of it," which is just them rebranding with the Storm Prediction Center issues with their, except the Storm Prediction Center does it within 25 miles of a point. So it's probably like a 10 or 15% chance day. Anyway, 2015. So my very first tornado here, and my NAS likes to go slow for some folders that haven't been opened in a long time. Of course, I have so many dang files on this NAS server that it takes a little bit of time. So we went down there and we started driving by this storm, and I was like, hey, cool, there's like rising clouds going up into it. That's kind of cool, but it's super wimpy on radar or whatever. So we went down to Lamar, Colorado, which was down in the, that was in southeast Colorado. And we eventually saw this. And this whole tornado, as we were driving to it, we initially saw, oops, too far. Okay, as we were driving to it, here's the rising scud. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. This is the storm that would drop tornado after tornado after tornado, and here we're going the opposite direction. So that was really frustrating. So we're trying to catch way up to it because the best that I knew how to storm chase was just to go where all the other storm chasers were, and they were all in Kansas. So as we went over here, eventually we got decently, but yeah, this was my first tornado, and I was super jealous because actually, let me pull up under here under family videos, because way back in 2009, 11 years ago, so under my family videos here, let's see if I can find it. I used to produce like these family video DVDs that were like an hour long, and I've made like 32 of these things over just the course of like 3 years. So, that's right, produced DVDs, that's what we're looking for here. And I was so jealous because I came down to shadow my sister at her work, and my family came down a week later, and I flew down because I shadowed her the week before, but my family left the day before, and I was going to meet up with them back in Montana because that's where I currently lived. And so let me see if I can find the 2009. This is all so old. This is back when I had the mini DV camcorder. So let me just scrub through a bunch of these, and I know. Oh, hey, look! Hey, that actually looked a little familiar. This was probably 2009, 2010. Come on, where was it? Where'd it go? Oh, it was just there. Where'd it go? Okay, that's better. This is my grandparents' farm, and dang it. Oh, here we go. This vehicle here. Does it look familiar at all? I had no idea that back then. Let me rewind it a little bit. And there it is. You can kind of see it. There's the Prius, my grandparents' Prius, back in they must have had this thing for less than a year. And I had no idea that when I was riding with them for the first time, that I'd be storm chasing in it. So anyway, kind of cool how that comes full circle. Okay, so I gotta find, maybe this is probably all too late. Let me
Are you the only storm chaser that's on a Prius?
There's gotta be stuff. I know I'm spending a lot of time looking for this. 1 second, guys. And oh, that was insane. That snow squall. This was like a wall of snow. This is why the National Weather Service now issues squall warnings, because of stuff like this. We're like, what the heck is coming towards us? And so I had just started time-lapsing stuff, and I was like, ah! And so eventually my mom was like freaking out, bring the camera back inside. So I didn't quite get it as it enveloped us, but it was just a snow squall. It just snowballed on us, and it got really windy. So that was really cool. Man, this takes me way back, all of this stuff here, because this was all 10 years ago. Okay, and let's see. I didn't produce a separate video of that, did I? I might just have a better luck finding it on Facebook because these things are so long. Okay, I just keep getting distracted and want to tell about all of the things. So anyway, Mr. Tilly, how about you hit me up with another question while I look for it?
All right, so here's a good question. How long does it take you to edit a single storm chasing video, and what are your computer specs to do so?
Oh, yes. How long does it take to edit me? So it's been taking me about 2 weeks to edit each video, and it's really tough for me to do because YouTube really prioritizes quantity of footage. And okay, I believe I found it here, and so that's tough for me to do. I'm trying to post as closely to every 2 weeks. Fortunately, my next video isn't going to be a very long one, so that will be very helpful. And here we go. So we'll get back to this footage over here in a second. So let me bring myself back into here. And so yeah, 2 weeks. And that I struggled with a long time because as I got better at editing videos, it kept taking me way longer. So back when I was making cubing videos, I got really popular because I was posting so many videos. But then as I got better, I started posting way less often. And so that was kind of my own downfall, and it would take me so much mental motivation to build up, especially on my cubing channel, Me, Myself, and Pi. I had these really successful videos about a cubing competition, and that was, and there was 4 videos I posted with that. It took me like a year and a half before I finally posted all of them. They took so long. So, but now, my roommate slash landlords, they gave me a daily planner, which I'm starting to finally use, and that's been helping me post a lot more regularly now. That, and I need to get these storm chasing videos posted before I start storm chasing again, because it's getting a little crazy. So, and, so computer specs, I have a pretty old Intel processor. It's a hexa-core, I believe it's the 5820K hexa-core hyper-threaded processor. And I would love to get one of the new Threadrippers, because there's a 12 core that looks so nice. And for the longest time, processing cores just weren't worth it to upgrade, because if I wanted something better, I'd have to pay way more money to get something better. But now I could get double the cores for less than double the cost of what I paid for my current processor, which was $300. So, and then I also have a GTX 1080 in it. That doesn't really help. It helps with having 3 monitors, which I have, so it helps in that, and I guess with color correcting too. So, but yeah. Anyway,
so let's talk
before
about
we go on to the
this
next one,
just for
Mr.
a
Tilly.
second.
So yes, going back to the first tournament, I was super jealous. So back in 2009, my parents actually saw a tornado coming back from Colorado Springs, and so I made this whole presentation over here. And I would love to post it, but I use so much copyrighted footage in it, because that's not my footage. That's definitely not my footage. And so I put together this whole thing. I was so jealous that they saw this tornado. I went back at the SBC archive. It was just a 2% day, at least for that area in Colorado. And I was so jealous. Though, the very next day when I met up with my family back in Montana, that's when I finally caught sight of my very first funnel cloud. The very next day, there it is. This was, I'm pretty sure, a cold air funnel, because it's pretty cold, pretty much driven by just cold air aloft. But yeah, there you can see there was rotation in there. So that was in June 2009. But technically not a tornado. It definitely wasn't on the ground. Sometimes cold air funnels can become tornadoes. So, but not in that instance. Anyway, hit me up with the next question, Mr. Tilly.
This wasn't necessarily a question, but something I thought we needed to probably just address for the sake of it is, what is your choice of gear for like videoing? So just for anybody who's interested in doing the same thing, like what do you use to record?
Oh, to record? Well, having an interchangeable lens camera is super nice, because down here. So this is my current, this is the one good camera that Samsung made over here. And so I got it because it shot both video and stills pretty easily. So this is what I do, because this makes it so much easier to focus through the raindrops on the windshield. Sometimes I mess up with that. It's not very ergonomic, so I would like to still get a 4K camcorder at some point. But so this is what I shoot. Definitely don't need it. Like, you can get, honestly, what I would recommend, just getting one of the old Sony camcorders that they used to make back in the earlier 2010s. Like, there's this one up in Denver I really want to go get used, because it was my favorite one. Because some of the older Sony camcorders like have a great image stabilizer built in, and man, I love that camcorder. And you know, it had the little flippy screen, because like I thought that my phone would be a great replacement, but I was really disappointed with how some of the footage from last year did when I was vlogging with my phone, because it wasn't stabilized, which means I had to apply a warp stabilizer, which took forever to do, and and the exposure would also jump around like crazy, and plus having the zoom in the camcorder. So I would recommend just getting a cheap tripod, setting it up between your seats in the car, and that will set apart a lot of your footage from others, because a lot of people just like to stick their cameras out the windows and get shaky footage. But when you shoot on a tripod, oh, and get a second tripod with the same clip, because then you can just pull it out of your back seat, set it up, unclip your camera from inside the car, and clip it on the outside. Those would be the things that I would recommend to get started. So this year, what I really need to work on is getting way better audio. So I'm considering about wearing a lapel, but also getting wind dampeners like dead cats and such for my audio, because I got so much wind noise last year. It was crazy. Anyway, what's next?
Your last and most important piece of gear, Billy. What kind of drone do you use?
Oh yeah,
and
the
why?
drone. Yeah, so the drone, actually, let me go get it. So it's honestly the cheapest drone that I could find that was, that had good range on it. So it's just the Phantom 3 Advanced here, and I just got it used on Marketplace for like $300. So, I originally thought it was the 4K version, so, and here it is. This is the one that crashed. So I was actually able to repair it, because this is not the first time that I have crashed a drone. So I stripped this old one, which was a Phantom 3 Pro. This is the first one that I bought, paid like $1,000 on it. So I stripped this one for parts and was actually able to repair it. And so I call this the TI UAV, the Tornado Intercept Unmanned Aerial Vehicle. And so I do need to take it out for more test flights, especially since like there's been some weather outbreaks that have been painfully close, but just a little far out of like I'm willing to go. So yeah, so it's just the Phantom 3 Advanced, and then I'll probably strap a GoPro to it again, as well as a phone. I did get a new phone this year, so I'm gonna be recording slow-mo from it, so that'll be exciting. But yeah.
All right, and I think we need to clarify a term that we love to use as filmmakers. Please explain to the people what a dead cat is.
Oh, the dead cat. It's just honestly a really fuzzy cover for microphones. It looks like a dead cat, honestly. If you put a tail on it, you know, you'd fake out a lot of people. So I would love to get that, and so I might see if I could jerry-rig it, because this one doesn't have bad microphones, and it's stereo, which I think is really helpful. Because, man, I watch so many reality TV shows. Like, I was just watching Discovery Channel's Stormchasers that they made back around the 2010s. And that one is, like, in all reality shows, they just have lapels underneath their shirts. And I've never liked that sound. You never hear any of the environmental sound. Like, you don't hear, like, how the reverb changes when they get in the car, or you don't hear maybe a distant echo off of a house from that. So that's something I really want to prioritize. I might get a lapel to use as backup audio, in case you can't hear me for whatever reason. So, yeah. But, yeah. I hope.
Okay. Next question is, which channel do you consider to be your main channel? Which I'm,
My main channel now, like, considering in the last few weeks, because my storm chasing videos, when I post them, they get like 2,000 views within a week. Now, like, it's been almost a week, and my newest storm chasing video, I think last I checked, was at 17,000 views. So this one is definitely my main channel. It's something that I'm gonna start pouring all of my energy into, because I would love YouTube to be a business one day, so we'll see if I can get there. I'm gonna give it, I think I have my best shot, because I've got a lot of storm chasing footage from last year, so, and I've only barely posted, or I don't think I've even posted half of it yet, so I've got a lot to post, hopefully before the new chasing footage comes in.
Have you ever seen a water spout?
A water spout? No, I have not. So that would be interesting to check out one day. I'm kind of far from the ocean here in Colorado, so nope, I have yet to see one. It would be kind of cool to fly my drone around one as well.
How good are you at still solving a Rubik's Cube?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, we can bring this up here. So let's see. Once I get warmed up, I'm still about the same speed that I was when I was back in my heyday. And that was about 25 seconds. So I guess we could give it a try here. I guess we can time myself. Where's my live timer? So I've been streaming for an hour and 6 minutes. I know I've only been live for 43 minutes. So once I hit 30 seconds, I will start here. 27, 28, 29, 30. Okay. So And I tried to actually learn some more algorithms a few months ago. Went to go visit Mr. Tilly over in Arkansas, and I did it while like on the plane and whatnot. So, although I just cut my finger, and this kind of hurts. So, oh dang it, that's an algorithm. Oh no, and I just remembered it, but I totally skipped it. Now I have to do an extra step. Okay. Okay. No. Okay. 30 seconds. That was lame. But yes, I mean, yeah, you can kind of see that my finger has a little cut on it right there. So, anywho. All right, so we probably have time for a few more questions. So, what else you got there?
All right, these are getting more into pi-related questions. How many digits of pi can you recite?
Oh yeah, let's do that. It's Pi Day. How can I forget to recite pi? Anyway, pi is 3.141592653584792638462643238327950288419716939393751058050. That's, I believe, 58 digits. So yes, that's actually where pi came from. That's why I got the nickname growing up, Pi. And so I remember I had to create my first email address, and when I was super young, I was like, I had fun like signing my lunch bags as mine, and then it kind of shifted into me, and then I was like, I'll put me myself. I'm like, I don't want to do me myself, and I want to be original. I was 12, it didn't matter. I put me myself on there. So that was the username I started to use as I got into gaming, and but then when I went to create my Gmail address for the first time, I put in me myself at gmail.com, and I was like, it's taken, come on. So I'm like, well, everyone puts numbers at the end of it. I'm gonna put pi, me myself 3.14. And then I told, when I was in middle school, I was a part of a math program called Math Counts, and my coach was like, oh, you created an email address that says me, myself, and pi, huh? And I'm like, oh, that's awesome! And from then on, I started using me, myself, and pi as my usernames for everything, which is where the YouTube channel came from. And then I also, and then when I created this channel, I originally called it Me, Myself, and Movies because, I'll post movies on it. And actually, when I was in college, I was getting into some filmmaking, so I literally was posting movies on here. I recommend Relativity if you want to see the best student film that I worked on. You may even see me in there. So yeah, if you go back through my older videos, that'll be on there. And then some of you, especially from the Minecraft channel, may know Voiceman Jake. He actually came up with the idea to rename the channel to More Pie. It's way more succinct, not nearly as wordy, way easier to remember, and then I get to thank you all for coming back for More Pie. So that's where the name came from as well. I know that kind of spurred off of the reciting pi question, but yeah. All right, give me one last question, Mr. Tilly.
One last question. All right, let's take it back to storm chasing. Have you ever been injured in storm chasing?
Have I ever been injured? I mean, I felt... I nearly got killed in my next video. So, but apart, and like me wanting to post that video is like I want to make a bigger deal over what it felt like, because it didn't feel like it, because I just ended up in the ditch. But it could have ended so much worse if my wheels didn't regain traction at the last second. So, maybe mentally a little bit, but honestly, like, I suppose the closest thing to that is when I watch tornadoes live on radar now, because something that storm chasing has really given me an appreciation for is the sheer power of tornadoes, and my heart just aches whenever I get on radar, especially for Nashville. I got on the radar because I knew there was a chance of tornadoes earlier on in the day, and I got on there and watched the debris ball live go through Nashville, and that's just so heart-wrenching to watch, just thinking about people losing their lives and people's lives getting ruined from that. So that's the closest thing to being injured by a storm. It's more like a mental injury, and so that's why I really want to tell people's stories from those videos, because it's so impactful. Because, I didn't really think much twice. I'm like, oh yeah, people in Tornado Alley, tornadoes hit them. They never think if tornadoes are going to hit them, but then they eventually will. And it's just, that's life. That's how I always used to think about it. But I'm like, every time I see a tornado hit a city. So fortunately, so far, I've only seen a few houses get hit, although I had no idea that during my first drone footage of a tornado, the McCook tornado in Nebraska back in May, that it actually hit a farm. I had no idea that actually happened until I saw Pecos Hank's video on it when he posted his 2019 tornado videos, and I was like, it hit a farm? I was like, no, did I capture that? Sure enough, I did. I had no idea. You can even see like the characteristic like white dusty smoke that comes off of buildings as they're being ripped apart. You can even see that in the footage when I zoom in on it. So if you guys didn't pick up on that, you can go back and check out that video. So, well, Mr. Tilley, unless there's any other pressing questions to watch, I think I'm going to go ahead and sign off here. I hope that you guys have a great Pi Day. I hope that you're all staying healthy. YouTube is a great place to keep our sanity while we're all stuck in our homes after... Man, it seems like everything's being canceled around here. So, oh, I got to address this last one. So you guys, I've mentioned Roly Poly. He's a great friend of mine up in Denver that I play a lot of Minecraft with. He's like, what am I playing Terraria? We might actually try that out in after this over on the Map Gaming channel, which stands for Me, Myself, and Pi channel. Wait.
Yep, I got one more question.
Okay.
It's from a Mr. Tilley.
Okay, let's go for it. I'm going to be losing my
How did you
voice
ever
pretty
get
soon.
such an amazing and wonderful and talented and absolutely incredible friend as Mr. Tilley?
Was that a statement or was that a question?
It's been, well, it could be both, I guess. But anyway, no, we're good. All questions are answered, I believe.
Great. Okay, yeah, have a great Pi Day again. Stay healthy, everyone. And yeah, have a great rest of your day. I'll be posting my next storm chasing video within the next week. I'm going to shoot for Wednesday, but there might be a storm chase. There might be storm chasing this week. We'll see. It might be a little out of my range. It might not. We'll see about that. Anyway, goodbye.